covering the stories that impact your life, your town, your state, and your future. This is the Means Report with your host, Brad Means.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Means Report. We appreciate you spending part of your day with us, and we assure you this will be well worth your time as we cover what I would submit is one of the hottest topics in our area, both now and in the past couple of years, and certainly going forward, cyber. And Augusta University's School of Computer and Cyber Sciences is in the spotlight for the next half hour. We'll talk about what they do over there to get our students ready for the workforce. We'll also talk about their key role in Georgia's elections as far as making sure that the electronic systems that are being put into place work. The Georgia Secretary of State's office has reached out to our friends at AU and partnered with them, so it is extremely important. Remember that when you go to the ballot box, and all things, knock on wood, function as they should. Dr. Alex Schwartzman is the Dean of the Augusta University School of Cyber and Computer Sciences. Dean Schwartzman, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here.
Glad to be here, thank you.
How in the world did this happen as far as you're concerned? You, all of a sudden, were you just a computer science teacher and then they said, hey, come to the cyber headquarters of the world and run our program?
Well, I spent my previous 20 years in the state of Connecticut, at the University of Connecticut. And one day I received my 20th anniversary certificate, and I said, what happened? What happened to my 20 years? And at about the same time, somebody brought to my attention this opportunity in Augusta, Georgia. Of course, climate was amazingly important to me.
I bet it was, yeah.
But more seriously, the amazing momentum and enthusiasm here in Augusta were just contagious. And for me, it is one in a lifetime opportunity to truly make a difference and build something new and do something that has impact.
Is there anything you brought from up north down here, any sort of template that you can plug in, or is this, let's just start from scratch, as you said, and build this?
Well, there is no prescription for how to build a research college. And of course, as you probably know, Augusta University is the 4th research university in the state. And the mission given to the school is to be a top-tier research college of computing. And to build that, you need to have research, you have to have education, of course, graduate programs as well as undergraduate programs. And so we're setting out to triple the size of the faculty and possibly double the size of our enrollment.
Let's start with enrollment. What are you doing to get students to come here? Or is it how it looks from my vantage point, they're beating down your door to get in? Which is it? Do you have to recruit?
It's the latter. So we have more applicants than we can handle. In the past less than 3 years, I think our enrollment doubled. I believe we're now, 3 years ago, we're about 300. Today we're, I believe, 600 or close to that.
Impressive.
But the biggest challenge really is not generating interest among high schoolers, but to find students who are truly interested in computing and who are able to succeed in the computer science program or information technology or cybersecurity program.
So are these grown-ups or are these just freshmen who don't know what they want to major in yet? Combination of the two?
Combination of the two. Of course, as you probably realize, Augusta University has many non-traditional students. And I will tell you that among our best students, the majority are non-traditional students because they join our program as adults, as grown-ups. They understand what they want. They are able to work in a goal-oriented fashion, and they succeed in disproportionate numbers.
If I'm somebody looking for a second career right now watching this broadcast, it sounds like you're the place to go.
I'd love to have you.
So you're downtown in the Hull McKnight building, is that correct? I want to make sure.
That's our headquarters.
Okay, so you're down there. Is that where your grad students go? They come from the Somerville campus for undergrad and then move up to you?
So our freshman and sophomore classes are offered in Somerville, and then junior and senior classes at Georgia Cyber Center by the river. Our graduate programs are just beginning to grow. The Board of Regents of USG, University System of Georgia, just approved our master's degree with a research thesis. We're going to start that in the fall. And on the heels of that, we're going to also introduce a doctoral program in computer science.
You mentioned that high schoolers or younger people aren't your primary focus necessarily, but I do want to ask you this. We did have a competition that we covered last week. Middle schoolers were competing, and they ultimately, the winners got to go to a cyber conference at the Marriott to get their awards. My question is, when you get kids competing in the world of cyber and it's fun to them, and maybe you saw this in Connecticut, do they choose to make it a career sometimes because of that fun at first?
So we want the students who understand what they want and who already have some experience in cyberspace. So I want to correct you. We are very much interested in high school students,
right,
as well as non-traditional students.
Right, but if you had to say which one's getting more focus right now, is it the kids or is it the non-traditional adults?
So I think both are equally important.
Great.
And we are doing a lot to reach out to high school population. Because it is very important to get somebody with fresh attitudes, recent exposure to computing. And we do specifically run programs designed for high school students. We run the Gen Cyber Camp every summer. Mm-hmm. It is funded by NSA. And the kids there are just fantastic. We are able to recruit some of them to come and study at Augusta University. And we also run Girls Who Code program for girls. This fall, I think we had about 42 girls who registered.
So it's when that interest is sparked early, it can turn into something special.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the bachelor and graduate programs that
Yes.
you have there. What all does that involve? Is the undergrad part what I would remember from computer science in college, and then the serious stuff kicks in grad school? How's it looking over there at AU?
Well, no, our undergraduate programs are quite rigorous. Mm-hmm. And our computer science is, for example, ABET accredited, it's National Engineering Accreditation. We're very proud of the program. It is of a national kind of caliber. And we also have 4 other undergraduate majors, the most recent of which is cybersecurity engineering. It is the first such degree in Georgia and one of the first in the nation. We're very proud of it. And we have the first cohort of about 15 students who started this year.
Let me ask you about the master's program.
Yes.
How long does that take? Is it a year, 2 years? And how, I imagine it's just, you talked about rigor. I bet it gets really serious there.
So we actually have 2 master's programs. One of them is a professional degree. It's Master of Science in Information Security Management. And mostly it is taken by adults who want either additional credentials or a career change. And the program, a typical student is part-time student, and depending on how many courses you take, it may be 2 years, maybe 3 years. It depends on your own pace. The Master of Science and Computer Science program that I mentioned, it includes potentially a research thesis. Mm-hmm. And so that is less predictable. I think an ambitious, successful student can probably graduate in 18 months, so 3 semesters, maybe 2 semesters in the summer. More usually it would take probably 2 years, 2 academic years.
No matter which course they choose, just the bachelor's or the master's, bachelor's or bachelor's and master's, how quickly can they get jobs?
Well, we have a very interesting situation where we cannot recruit our own undergraduates for graduate study because they're all gone.
Yeah.
Of course, the best of them are even gone by the end of the junior year, and almost all of our students have jobs by the time they graduate. It's a little bit of a paradox, because the industry is doing so well, we have hard time getting graduate students.
I heard a guy from Fort Gordon the other day tell a civic organization that I'm a part of, you've got these 18 to 22-year-olds fighting the bad guys online, fighting the war on terror in cyberspace. And I thought 18 to 22, why would you stick around for a master's? Because you know all you need to know to get a great job before then, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, there are there are jobs, a lot of jobs that require only a bachelor's degree. But if you look at the U.S. Bureau of Labor statistics, there is an indication that there are close to 20,000 unfilled entry-level jobs that require a master's degree. So this is very interesting. An entry-level job requires a master's degree.
So if you have that, you're going to stand out.
Absolutely.
From the field.
And 20,000 nationally, if there are 200 universities producing master's degrees, then it means 100 per university. That is a non-trivial number. It's not going to happen overnight.
Dean Schwartzman, you kind of caught my attention when you talked about not only student recruitment, but faculty recruitment. You're doing this 30 in 3 program. Tell me what your 30 in 3 program is all about. It seems aggressive.
So when I came to Augusta, talked to our president, Dr. Keel, and he certainly wants our college to be something at a national stature.
Sure.
A comprehensive research college. Well, the price of admission is anywhere 40 to 50 faculty. You have to have sufficient critical mass in research to be significant, to make impact, and to be able to collaborate with both university partners, industrial partners, government, military in particular. And so I set out to hire 30 new faculty in 3 years. I'm happy to report that I hired exactly 10 in our first year.
Did you really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
The 10th arrived around New Year's. So we are, and now I'm recruiting 10 more. I'm happy to report that I already have 2 acceptances. So we're on our way. And by the way, I want to mention that we were able to attract faculty, researchers, because they also feel tremendous enthusiasm about this area and the momentum that we're experiencing here. They feel that here they can make impact more so than anywhere else or their home institution.
It seems like we're making a name for ourselves nationwide. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
People know about what's happening here.
Augusta, Georgia was listed among 10 potential cyber hubs of the world. And so we certainly are going to help that happen.
Well, I'm also impressed with the role that AU is playing in our upcoming elections. And when the Means Report continues, we're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Alex Schwartzman. He is the Dean of Augusta University's School of Computer and Cyber Sciences. And we'll find out what they're doing when it comes to those new systems we'll all be using when we come back. Welcome back to the Means Report, everybody, as we continue to tackle all of the excitement and all of the goings on at Augusta University when it comes to cyber and what we're doing to get people ready for the workforce in this cyber industry that is just starting to really take off in our town. Dr. Alex Schwartzman is the Dean of Computer and Cyber Sciences at AU. Dean Schwartzman, I wanted to talk about your role with Georgia's brand new election systems, but before I do that, let me go back to what we were talking about when it comes to teacher recruitment. So you have this plan to recruit 30 teachers in 3 years. You're more than a third of the way there 1 year in. You told me the average hiring rate, you're doing 10 a year. What's the average?
So nationally, universities that are looking to fill such positions they would like to hire 2.5, and they succeed in hiring 1.8 per university.
Per year. And
per year.
And you've done 10.
10 in 1 year, right.
Can you sustain that for the final 18 to 20?
I hope so.
I hope so too. And I'll ask you the same thing I've asked other AU deans and administrators. What do people love about Augusta? Is it what you mentioned at the top of the show, the climate? What helps sell us to these teachers?
I think it is, well, not only teachers, but teachers, researchers. I mean, because we hire faculty who will excel both in teaching and research. But I think they feel the enthusiasm that is so contagious in Augusta. They feel that there is a momentum, and whereas in the past, the university professors tended to sit in their office and use paper and pencil for their research, and now they see that the most interesting problems are in interaction with industrial partners, with government partners. Most challenging computer science problems are nowadays not invented at the university, but are discovered in interaction and in partnerships with our constituencies and partners.
What is the primary thing y'all are doing? And yes, I'm going to oversimplify here, but are you teaching these students how to make sure that our systems are hack-proof, or are you teaching them how to hack into other systems, or both? Because at the end of the day, it's just that binary code that I studied 30 years ago, learning how to make programs. What makes y'all different?
Yeah. So there is a spectrum of activities, and as I mentioned, we have several degrees. We don't have time to go into each of them.
Sure.
But on one hand, we're teaching students how to build systems that are secure from the get-go, as opposed to dealing with security as an afterthought.
Gotcha.
At the other extreme, we're teaching our students in our information technology and cybersecurity programs, now that you have a particular industrial enterprise, computing enterprise, how do you make it secure? So, and everything in between, of course.
Dean, it's no secret that there was a lot of controversy after Georgia's last elections. People questioned the security of our voting systems, and so the state of Georgia, the Secretary of State's office, went out and got new machines. We're all going to use them next time we go to the polls. What's Augusta University's role going to be in making sure that the elections run well?
So I want to first mention that nationally, there is a trend away from paperless systems towards paper ballots. And so what Georgia will be using in November of this year will be systems which are based on voter verified paper ballots, and this is absolutely the correct direction to go.
Why? It sounds like we're going backward.
Well, the issue is that paperless systems are not auditable, and one cannot be completely confident in the results of the election. You could say, well, we all use ATMs. But with ATMs, there is strong authentication. You have your card, you have your password, you have a receipt, you have a clerk, you have monthly statement, but the ballot is completely anonymous. So the analogy with the ATM doesn't work at all. And so you need something that is verified by the human voter, so that if we have any doubt in the reliability of the system, a human being can recount the ballots and confirm the outcome.
Does it slow down how long it takes us to vote, or how long it takes people on the other end to count them?
I don't think that it necessarily slows it down substantially, perhaps some, but the votes, the paper ballots will be tabulated electronically. But Georgia will also have a post-election paper ballot audit that would allow officials to verify that the machines reported votes accurately.
So what are y'all going to be doing? Do you get to inspect the machines, or just stand in the background and see if they need you?
No, we are starting a laboratory at the university. We're going to have a complete replica of the state electronic election system.
Really?
And we're going to be continuously evaluating it. If we find any vulnerabilities, we will be working with the state officials to make sure that these vulnerabilities are not going to impact our elections, either through use of safe use procedures or through corrections to the equipment.
So will you need people to come in and play the role of voters? Will you get your students to do that? I would think you would need to repeat what you just mentioned hundreds, thousands of times to make sure everything works.
So we, by the way, I have been doing this for more than 10 years prior in Connecticut. So we have a lot of experience in this area. And indeed, having some test voters and using students in some studies would be very interesting. But at the same time, our facility is going to be secured. It's a laboratory that has no windows, and that's how we want it. And there's going to be very, very secure access to make sure that nothing ever happens with the systems, at least in terms of physical access. And needless to say, these systems will never be on the internet.
Well, that kind of answers my next question. I was going to ask if, we're going to be able to show what you're doing on the news to the public, but it sounds like it's...
I don't think so.
No, kind of private, isn't it? As are many things cyber. So you're not interpreting the votes. People should know that, right? No. That's not AU's role.
No, we're just making sure that the equipment is operating accurately, that it does not have security vulnerabilities, and then that the integrity of the vote is maintained. So,
what if it does have some vulnerabilities? What happens then? Do you get a bunch of those smart kids together and say, reprogram this? We only have a few months till November. How do you fix it?
Well, no. As I mentioned already, usually there are workarounds, through safe use procedures. If we know that something is not operating correctly, well, we'll try not to use it. One, right? Of course, in case of errors which cannot be corrected, we will be cooperating with the vendors and with the state with the state to make sure that these are corrected in time. But also I wanted to point out, even if these voting systems break on election day, the fact that we have paper ballots means that the election can go on still.
Yeah, you've got that backup, that safety net. What should we know as voters to make sure things run as smoothly as possible and make sure that we help those machines do their job?
Yes, so the voter will have a chance to verify that the printed ballot correctly represents their choice.
All right.
And I think it is important for all of us, please spend a minute, 2 minutes, check your ballot. Make sure that what is printed on the ballot is what you want. Because this is the only guarantee that we have, is that what is counted is what the voters intended.
You're not anticipating any problems. Have you seen these systems, these machines in use before during your experience with making sure that elections are secure? Have you seen this brand of equipment, if you will?
No, I'm not familiar with this particular brand. And,
okay.
But we will be very familiar very quickly as soon as we have our lab equipped.
And then election day, are you all spread out all over the state, or has is your job done by then?
I would love to have 159 faculty,
right.
One per county, but no, we will not be able to do that. But of course, we will be standing by in case of any issues to advise the state on how to proceed safely.
I'll ask you the same thing I ask everybody who has anything to do with cyber, Dean, and that is, how do we make sure our kids are on the right track to get involved? Is it elementary school? Is it middle school? When do we say, hey, look, this is a field you need to pursue?
Well, I think that I wouldn't go as far as elementary school, but for high school children, I think it's important to become engaged and understand more about the technology and computing and cyber in particular. So in fact, we're working with our College of Education to help high school teachers with their computer science endorsement.
Well, you're doing a lot over there, and I know the best is yet to come. Welcome once again to our area.
Thank you so much.
I know it's been a couple of years, but you're one of us now, and I'm glad you're here.
I love Augusta.
Well, we love you too, Dr. Schwartzman, and thanks for all you do for cyber.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. And please come back. There's so much more to talk about.
Absolutely.